You know, I was reared and raised in a small town called Kilmichael, Mississippi. Population a little bit over 400 people, one full-time police officer, one part-time police officer that drove my bus during the day, covered the night shift at the station at night. 0 stoplights in the city, one doctor, and if he wasn't at the clinic, you could pull up at his house. High school graduating class of 32 people. You didn't have to say it like that. I mean, well, I want to read a couple of verses of scripture today. Y'all feel like talking back to the preacher today or no? Y'all tired? Y'all good? Job chapter 2, verse number 7 says this. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the sole of his feet down to the crown of his head. Then Job took a piece of pottery and scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes, and his wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." I want to stop the reading of scripture right there and tag a title to this text. I know some of you are like, I need some understanding. I want to tag a title to this text, and I want to talk from this subject in our time together today. I didn't mean it like that. I want everybody that's ever said anything you didn't quite mean at the wrong time to clap your hands and thank God in advance. He's getting ready to speak to you. I didn't mean it like that. As many of you know, I was reared and raised in a small town called Kilmichael, Mississippi. Population a little bit over 400 people, one full-time police officer, one part-time police officer that drove my bus during the day, covered the night shift at the station at night. 0 stoplights in the city, one doctor, and if he wasn't at the clinic, you could pull up at his house. High school graduating class of 32 people. You didn't have to say it like that. I mean, but I was reared and raised in that cultural context, and every cultural context has some colloquialisms. There are some things that you heard people say frequently based on where you were reared and raised. And one of the phrases that I would hear frequently may be a phrase you heard where you grew up. Here it is. It's a weird way of saying something wise. Here it is. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. This is interesting because this saying is simply suggesting that you can give people exposure to something, but you can't give them an appetite. That you can show them a picture of what's possible for them, but you can't make them pant for it. You can show them what they can do, but you can't make them want to. You can see better in them, but you can't make them want better for themselves. Because most people don't live at the level of their potential, they live at the level of their standard. And some people have standards that are beneath their potential. And you and I, who love people, who are invested in people, who want to pull out the best in people, need to realize and recognize the only thing you can do, the only thing you've been called to do, the only thing you're capable of doing, the only thing you've been anointed to do is to lead them to water. Did you hear what I just said? And this revelation should ease some frustration in some of our life, because some of us have been trying to make people drink who not thirsty. I thought y'all would talk better than me at the 12 o'clock. It means that you and I have to get a revelation that we should never give up on people, but you hit a season where you got to give people up to God. I'm not giving up on you, but I made all the contribution I'm able to make in this season. Come on. Because you got a revelation. There are 5 types of people I can't help. I can't help people who don't want help. I can't help people who don't want help now. I can't help people who don't want help from me. I can't help people who only want help their way. Y'all not talking to me. I can't help people who need help and don't know they need help, and I know how to help them, but they're trying to tell me how to help them, when if they knew how to help themselves, they wouldn't need my help. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And this means you've got to be conscious and careful that you do not interrupt people and rescue them from trials that God is using to create thirst. Did you hear what I just said? You got to be careful that you don't rescue people from trials that God is using to create thirst. Sometimes people have to go through a trial to create some thirst for better. Here's the way David put it. David said this about himself. He said, "It was good that I was afflicted, that I might learn your decrees." You got to understand that some people only get education through affliction. But you got to be able to trust that the same God that preserved you in your silly season until you learn your lesson is the same God that will preserve them in their silly season when they learn their lesson. I don't want to hear from people who have never made any mistakes and you made all the right choices and you're supposed to be where you are right now. This next 30 seconds of this sermon is for people that's honest enough to say, I should have blew it. I shouldn't even be here right now. As a matter of fact, there's some stuff that if it ever became out in the light, I'd have to throw up my one Baptist finger and exit the building. But he looked beyond my faults and saw my needs. Some people need affliction to get an education. And when you love them, you'll want to rescue them from pain they need to change. Because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. That's one colloquialism. But here's another. Maybe you heard this one too. It's not you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. This one is bless your heart. Now, this phrase has a multifaceted meaning. And the tone they say it in determines what they mean by it. One tone of bless your heart is an expression of endearment. It's when you realize and recognize somebody's done something that they didn't have to do. They've been uniquely generous. They made some kind of unique contribution to your life. And you express your appreciation and affection by saying, bless your heart. But there's another way that phrase is used. And that phrase is not just used as an expression of endearment. Sometimes it's a statement of sympathy. It is, one is, bless your heart. The other is, bless your heart. It means that you got a revelation of a limitation that you have when it comes to investing in their own development. It means that you realize and recognize, I can't put in what God left out.